Hello, and welcome everyone. This is Tiago here, and I'm really excited that you decided to take a moment of your day and come to our live stream. Thank you very much. Today, we'll be showing you how powerful Automate can be when it comes to your convenience and peace of mind. Let's say that you have three possible payments to make in any given day, but you'll not be around your computer or preferred security setup at that specific time. This could be a huge headache, especially if you were to attempt so via a mobile wallet, which on certain accounts could also be insecure. Think about it. Today, we'll teach you on how to execute pre-selected transactions using different triggers. In this specific example, John has to award a crypto prize for three possible winners, Alice, Bob, and Tyler, on a weekend that he won't be able to access his assets directly. Let's now see how it's done. Clarence, please go ahead.
Thanks, Tiago. So, hey everyone, Clarence here, and today I'm going to show you how to use Zapier to trigger multiple payments. Okay. So I have here created a diagram to show you the flow of this process. So we will be using Zapier here to create a Zap and then use a Dagger as a listener for the trigger. And then we will set up the condition for the trigger so that when the condition meets, the automate will trigger the transaction, and then we will create a signed transaction via my Ether wallet. So after you have set up those, so for example, this is John's address. So these are the triggers. So 0.01 ETH, 0.02 ETH. So once John receives one of these amounts, so it will trigger a transaction and send it to these different addresses. So let's dig into the detailed process. So first, make sure that you have a Zapier account. So if you don't have an account, please feel free to sign up to Zapier and create your account. So for example, after you created your Zapier account, you need to sign in and create a Zap. So click here to make a Zap. So we will be setting up the listener, the filter, and the trigger for a Zapier. So for the listener, um, listener is basically listens to the transaction that's going on with your address. So we will be using Dagger for Ethereum as a listener. So you click on the search bar here and you search for Dagger. Then you click Dagger for Ethereum and then new transaction. Click save and continue. So for this network, I'm going to use mainnet and the transaction type will be incoming. So for the Ethereum address, so this will be John's address, the source of the assets that we'll be sending from, and then you click continue. Continue. So after you have created your listener, we will be adding a condition or a filter for this transaction. So you click add a step and then choose filter and then save and continue. So after you have create a condition, we are going to set up the condition for this transaction. So click on human readable amount. So this will be the amount of assets that you will receive to trigger the transaction, and then exactly matches. So and then put the amount that will be your trigger of the transaction. So I'm gonna put 0.01 ETH. So if John's address will receive 0.01 ETH, and then it will trigger the transaction and send out the assets to either Alice, Bob, or Tyler, and then test and continue. You can also review the details here that you have added and continue. And then after we have set the condition, we'll click on another step again and then click action and search. So we're going to use automate as a trigger for this transaction. Click continue. So for this step, we're going to get the signed transaction for my Ether wallet. So we have already logged into my Ether wallet. So if you don't know how to create a signed transaction, we have a dedicated tutorial for that in our YouTube channel. So back to my Ether wallet, we are going to, for example, send DAI tokens to Bob. So I'm going to put the amount here, DAI, and then the address. This will be Bob's address. And then you scroll down and you click generate transaction. So you copy this signed transaction here and go back to Zapier and paste it here and then click continue. And then you click finish. You can also name your Zap here. So for example, send to Bob. Then you turn on your Zap. So once uh, John has determined the winner for the crypto reward, um, John will have to send ETH to that address so that it will trigger the transaction. For example, I have here multiple Zaps already I've created earlier. So make sure you which Zap you are going to trigger and the amount of assets that you're going to send. And you have to make sure to write everything down for reference, like different trigger amounts, and make sure you have enough assets on your wallet for your transactions to be successful. So, for example, if you're going to send it to Alice, so I have created, for example, I created a different trigger for Alice. So, for example, I used 0.02 ETH. So you'll have to take note of that, and then you can send the amount to trigger the transaction. So that concludes my demo on how to send transactions using Zapier. So back to you, Tiago.
All right, thank you very much, Clarence. And so here you can see how simple it is to create transactions so you can send them to certain addresses. In this specific example, let's say John has decided to award Tyler. For this example, if he set up everything correctly, all he'll need to do is send himself 0.02 ETH, and that would trigger the transaction that he has signed before and send it towards Tyler's address. This move from him would also invalidate the other transactions that he wrote before for Bob and Alice because of the nonce, which is the number, the order of transaction that was sent from a specific address. And it can be, and they will be invalid, so nobody can trigger it later, not even John. If he wants to send to Bob or Alice later, he'll need to put another nonce and do something like that. If you want to play around this, you can even do things a bit more complicated, like let's say you have a payment to make, in another example, of course, you have a payment to make to Bob, Tyler, and Alice at a certain point of time, but you can only pay them if they have concluded a work or a gig. And if that is the case, you can set up a lot of transactions and in a cascade effect, making so that the transactions will go forward to the right place, to the right address, and to the right person at your discretion. You can do all of that using Automate. That's why it's such a powerful and useful tool for you to have in your toolbox for your daily to day-to-day crypto use. All right, guys. Regarding this, this is the content we have for you today. I would like to thank you again for being here with us. And if you like our video, please do like it, and subscribe to our channel. Also, follow us on Twitter and join our Telegram so you can get the most up-to-date content that we are coming up with. Other than that, on behalf of the team, I would like to wish you a very nice end of week and see you soon. Bye bye.